Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Jarvis in Japan podcast. And I've still got my friend Phuc, Stefani, and your stage name is.
Stefani St. Slut.
And now we're going to talk a little bit about LGBT life in Japan. So, Stefani, how is it like being LGBT in Japan?
LGBT life in Japan, I would say it's safe. It's
Mm.
progressing slowly, but there's definitely a progress. And queer marriage is not accepted yet, but
Oh, is it not in law?
it's not in law yet, no. But we do have like some sort of certified partnership in Tokyo, but it's not to the level of marriage. And because we have more foreigners coming to Tokyo, and of course, foreigners are more progressive, to say the least. And like we have a lot of movements like happening among the queer people, led by Japanese and by foreigners.
So it's
So
Japanese.
I would say like yes, there is a progress, slow but steady. Yeah.
Okay, so it's getting there. Like Japan's very slow for changes. Like everyone knows.
Exactly.
Like, still got the same old people in the government who've been there for like how long?
Yeah, we have secretaries who are 80 years old. So yeah, secretaries who are 80 years old. Let me rephrase that. You are like what? Almost 100 years old, and you're still a secretary. So yeah.
Yeah. Was it the recent president, the leader of Japan? His ratings went up when he started to ban all foreigners, right?
Yeah. Okay, let's not
Like,
talk about that.
let's not talk about that. That's going off topic, but you can understand it's a bit it's a bit old fashioned, a bit hard. But it's good to see progress is being made, right?
Yes, definitely.
Have you seen a change since you've been living in Japan? Because you've been living in Japan for how long now?
For 9 years, and yes, there has been change.
Mm.
And just recently, just like last year in summer, there was a protest in Shibuya.
You attended that, right?
I attended the protest. Yes, it was the protest rave for LGBTQIA plus community, demanding equality. And yes, I was dancing on the stage in drag with my co-drag performers, and we were just doing it for fun. I loved it. It was so positive, and like people were really accepting. Like so many people showed up. Of course, we were all wearing masks, and
Nice.
we had like iconic DJs. We had like amazing established dancers in the dancing in Tokyo, like attending that event. So it was fantastic. It was like literally right at Shibuya Station. Yeah.
Nice. Sadly, I was in Hikokune City at that time. I couldn't come. But it's been a fun time.
It was absolutely amazing. Yeah. So life in Japan, like queer life here is definitely there. We have a community. We're still small, but we stick together. Like we stay strong. And I know that so many of my friends are activists as well. So they're doing their best to improve the situation. I love them. Like I'm not a politics person myself, but I just love supporting people who are doing it for the sake of everyone.
That's good. So do you find the same, because you're also a drag star, right? You said. So do you find the same sort of positive for the drag community from, say, like normal Japanese people?
Definitely. Like drag has recently become this huge mainstream phenomenon around the world, thanks to RuPaul's Drag Race, and of course Japan is also stepping in. But Japanese drag scene, it's a lot more different than like European drag scene or specifically American drag scene. Yeah, because over there drag is like a job for them. Yeah, it's like literally it's a competition. It's mainstream. It's you make a living out of it. But here in Japan, it's a little bit more experimental.
Underground,
it's like it's more underground. Yeah, definitely. So even within the drag community, we have like the Japanese scene, we have the foreign scene, and we don't really mix. It's really hard because like some like in some events, and we do have Japanese queens and foreign queens performing together. But in general, the scene is still divided into Japanese and foreigner.
Oh, why is
like,
that?
Because
Do you
of the
understand why?
language barrier, and it's also because of the
日本語。
culture barrier. Yeah, because not all Japanese drag queens can speak English, and not all English-speaking queens can speak Japanese. So it's really hard already. It's already like one level of boundary. And like the culture as well. Like,
is it a different style of drag as well? Yeah, like,
the style is also really different. Yeah, like originally, like a long time ago in Japan, drag queens, they were hostesses in bars and clubs, and they did like live singing a lot, and basically they were just like hosting the show. And now, because of RuPaul's Drag Race, and we tend to have more show queens, that you tend to like put a performance together, and then you have like lighting production, you have sound production. So basically, it's like a grande Western style drag show. But not all Japanese queens do that. Yeah, and that's why the foreign queens tend to stick together, because that's
it's a very
how
different
foreign
style.
queens
It's like
see drag. Yeah,
it's the RuPaul style of drag.
it's the RuPaul style, exactly. Yeah.
It's interesting. It's different style. I thought it'd be all like the same in one. You all like band together, but no, it's quite different. So it's quite interesting.
Like, we have some queens here who do mix between the Japanese community and the foreign community, but it's really rare. Yeah, I know so many queens who only perform for foreign shows, and other queens who only perform for Japanese shows. Like, we have only a few that can go back and forth. Yeah.
So that's interesting. So who are your main audience then when you do these shows?
Our main audience is definitely foreigner. Yeah, like the drag show that I'm producing with my drag house, and I would say a majority, like 80% of our audience is foreigner. But of course, we encourage Japanese people to get involved. Like, we try to find Japanese performers. We invite like Japanese friends to come to our shows. But it's really hard because like the humor, like English humor and Japanese humor, do not.
So
yeah. So when you do a show and then you accommodate the foreign humor, the Japanese people just don't get it. Yeah, it's really hard. And the same thing is like, if you do a show and you accommodate the Japanese humor, the foreigners go like, huh? So it's not just the language, it's about the culture as well. Yeah.
Okay. Is it probably so different with more Japanese? So is the Japanese style just be mainly Japanese people, right?
I would say so, yeah, because like a lot of Japanese queens don't really even do shows. They do hosting more than they do.
So it's hosting.
They
So
just
it's
love
more
to
like
dress up and
rich. So is it mostly for the hosting side? Would it be mostly males coming in or girls as well? I know some of the hosts, it's going to be a bit of a mixed, right?
Like, hosts are guys and hostesses are girls. So we have drag hostesses who are drag queens hosting the bar.
Okay.
And the customers can be anyone. They can be straight people, it can be queer people, they can be whatever. Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, because in Europe, there's not really sort of host culture, really, like Europe and America.
Yeah, the host
that's one thing very different I found when I did come to Japan. Like, the host culture is very new to me when I came.
The host culture it's a Japanese thing, especially among like young people. A lot of young girls and young boys do hosting. Yeah, it doesn't mean sex. It just means company. Like, you sit down with the clients and you talk to them, and then like, you serve them drinks and you serve them snacks, and basically you entertain them with your presence. It's not about sex. Yeah.
Okay. So it's like pay a friend.
Exactly. Like, you pay money.
Pay for a friend. For a really hot friend.
Yeah.
Nice. So now let's just think, what do you think the future is going to hold for drag and LGBT?
Oh, I think it's flourishing. Like, I believe that in Tokyo, the drag scene can improve so much. It's growing like insanely fast right now.
What's good?
Like
just Corona ends, there's gonna be like drag festivals.
Let's not call it a drag festival.
Matsuri!
I mean, we already have Pride. We already have the parade.
Also, we do have Pride in Japan then, right?
Yeah, we do have Pride, but then now because of Corona, then we don't really have it anymore.
That's
but
everywhere,
before
right?
Corona, then yes, it was amazingly. They hosted it every year.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm. So in the future, I believe there will be a lot more queens because we have more foreigners coming here. I don't know about Corona, but now I've seen like a lot of young Japanese queens who develop themselves and their image according to RuPaul's style.
So the RuPaul's coming in, so you're gonna get more
the
mixed.
Japanese queens, like the young generations now.
They're getting it now. They're like, this RuPaul guy.
they're being influenced by RuPaul, and they're also like doing this very Western aesthetic for their drag too. So drag is taking over the world, yo.
No, that's good.
Queens are everywhere.
And that's maybe some opportunities for like Japanese people. They want to do drag. They can go abroad and do that too, right?
Exactly. And we have so many shows now that feature both Japanese queens and foreign queens, and they use like pop music, they use K-pop, they use Japanese music. Like, it's so flexible, like it's so versatile. Like, drag is an art form that you can do basically whatever the fuck you want.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a play on gender, it's a play on representation. Yeah.
That is good to hear. So before we end this, we're just going to ask, so if you do come to Japan and want to experience Japanese drag, where do you go?
If you want to experience Japanese drag, I would recommend Nichome. That is the
Nichome.
In Tokyo. We have so many bars and clubs that feature drag events. We have like some iconic drag places. For example, Isotope Lounge in Shinjuku Nichome, and they host drag shows. Like before Corona, they used to do drag shows every week. Yeah, and I know friends who performed there, but now because of Corona, like they restricted it and it's not as exciting. But still, it's known for drag shows. And we have like other individually owned venues that also host drag shows.
It's mainly Shinjuku, right?
Yeah, it's in Shinjuku. So I have my house production. I can provide you information to our website.
Yeah, we can put some links in that. We can put in the show notes.
Yeah, like I can send you a message about that. We also have like another drag house in Tokyo. Like they're called Haus of Gaishoku, and their shows are in Kichijoji. So they're not in Shinjuku. They're not in the gay district. They are in Kichijoji. That's like a part of Tokyo. It's like it's a little bit further away. Yeah.
Okay, we'll put a link to that because I don't even know where that is.
Yes. So I'll send you all the details. Yeah.
Nice. That'd be in the show notes. If you're interested in coming to Japan and want to experience the drag scene, that is where to go.
Exactly. So basically, go to Nichome. Go to the gay district, and you can see everything. It's like all the gay bars, all the gay sex shops, like, all the venues, all the clubs. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to experience those shops, right? If as long as you don't go with your kids, right? If you go with your other half, or your friends, like you should experience one of those, right?
Yes, you should go with a gay friend. I recommend. Because if you are new and you have no idea what's going on and you get into that place, it can be really overwhelming. You don't know the place.
Yeah, I've walked into one without realizing before, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so just go with a friend. Go with a gay friend.
Okay, so that's nice. So that's going to wrap up this podcast quite nicely. Some recommendations of places to go and the places you should really go, right? Everyone needs to experience that once in Japan. It's like one of the unseen things, but...
And And if you want to follow me on Instagram and you want to follow
yes.
my drag house Instagram, I can also provide the
What is your Instagram?
handle. Yeah, I'll send you all the details.
Okay, we'll send all the details. So, if you want to check out Stephanie and her drag scene, please look in the links in the description. There'll be all the show notes. And you yourself come to Japan and experience Tokyo drag.
Let's hope that someday we can travel again. I mean, Corona is here. She's here to slay. She's here to stay. She's not.
But you're gonna slay that.
She keeps transforming herself, like.
But it's not gonna stop you, right?
So yeah, have fun.
Yeah. そう皆さん最後まで聞いてくれてありがとうございました。じゃあね。
ありがとうございました。
テシどこ